Hey, what is up,
Friday.
guys?
We're
Happy
back.
Friday. We are back with another episode of Operation Hustle. Today we have Brandy Johnson, one of my clients and owner-operator of Advanced Foot and Ankle Specialists. She's a baller with the utensils, the surgery utensils. And we're glad to have her on. We're happy to have her, and we want to thank her for coming out. We want to thank Alejandro and Michael last week for holding down the fort.
Yes, they were holding down the fort
Awesome
because I was getting
podcast.
surgery, cosmetic surgery, so I'm okay.
She was out, and I couldn't make it in. I was taking care of her, so they got it done. It was an awesome podcast. If you haven't checked it out, we now are on Spotify, guys. Check us out, Operation Hustle. I just dropped a little link or a picture on Facebook. So when you get a chance, go and download us on Spotify. We would really appreciate it. And we hope you like the show.
And a big shout out to Justin, my husband, for taking care of me because I literally couldn't do anything all weekend. So
it was
thank you so much.
Quite a journey. And we're here now.
And I'm glad to be back.
One Friday later. Look at that. You're already on the show.
Yeah.
You're back to work.
Back to normal.
Not terrible.
Nope.
I thought it may be worse, but it wasn't that bad. But I also didn't have to do shit other than take care of her. So
other than help me sit up, lay down, the obvious.
So I am going to start with a quote because I kind of want to. Let's see. Losers make excuses and winners make it happen. That's it. Okay. You know, if you want something done, you're going to make it happen. And losers do make excuses. The more you make excuses, the more you're just not going to get shit done. And excuses sound the best to the people that are making them as well. So take that as a note as well.
Love that.
Yeah. I do want to ask Brandy some questions. First question. How did you get into this field and why did you get into this field?
Well, I met a doctor in Boulder where I went to college at University of Colorado.
Let's go.
And I met him and he kind of has a similar practice to how I practice. It was a lot of surgery, just a real full, spread of patient types. And I really liked how he practiced. And so it kind of led me to my field.
Awesome. So what made you get into the medical field in general? Like, was this like always a passion of yours or is this just
since I was young? I love science. And I'm a people person.
Awesome.
So I'm a good talker.
Yeah, dude, you can talk it up.
And I like science. So it worked well together.
Yeah. And you like cutting people open too. That's what it's
I love it.
So I talked to her during our sessions because she does train with me 3 times a week and she has been crushing it, by the way. Good job. And we're going to train after this too. Yes. So she gets to see me after this. But I asked her a few times, but I want you guys to find this out. What's like the gnarliest, craziest surgery that you've ever done?
Well, the best surgeries it's called a Charcot. It's where diabetic patients can't feel their feet. And so you have to put these big frames on. And that's my favorite probably thing because you're actually saving their foot.
If they could lose their foot if they don't go through the surgery.
They will lose their foot if they don't get the reconstruction done.
Wow.
It's only about, it's not, it's about 25% of people will still lose their foot even after this reconstruction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that because, so I have a question now listening to this answer. So is that because the people that still lose their foot after that surgery, because they waited too long to come to you? Is there like a period of time when it's kind of almost too late?
It is. Well, a lot of it is so their foot's so unstable because of their diabetes and neuropathy where they lose all the sense of where their bones are, basically just kind of the bones just fall apart like a bag of bones.
Yeah.
And so it's like building it back up.
That is insane.
And I've done one on someone even as young as like 22.
Oh my
wow. And
goodness.
is that like, so let's say that 22-year-old, that was a type 1 diabetic case?
Correct.
Or type, okay, yeah.
Uncontrolled type 1 diabetic.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I salvaged his foot and it's 7 years later.
Let's go. My man got a foot.
And he still has a foot.
That's awesome.
So how many foots do you think you've saved?
With Sharka reconstructions, probably 100 in my career.
Wow.
Yo,
That's amazing.
100 feet out there. Thanks to homegirl.
So
Yeah.
let me ask
That's
you this:
amazing.
because now I have even more questions listening to
Mhm.
this diabetic question, because it does go hand in hand with what we practice in our
Exactly.
industry. When these people come in for these surgeries and they're about to lose their foot, do you ever have any like discussions with them about like taking their diabetes seriously after the surgery? Like, hello, this could happen to you again.
Oh yeah, I won't. So to do a reconstruction like that, they have to have their sugar under control.
Yeah.
And and like I know someone who's a type 1 diabetic, and how he keeps his sugar low is by exercise
Yeah.
Let's
and
go.
doing all the
Yeah.
right things and keeping his muscle mass, because it helps to burn the sugar. And so I talk to him about food intake. I mean, it's huge. I mean, people don't get enough education in that.
Yeah.
And it's blood sugar control affects their entire life, their kidneys. I mean, if you've already gotten as bad as having this Sharka, where the bones, are so
Yeah.
bad and the foot basically fell apart, if you've already gotten that bad, then everything in your body's pretty bad at
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
point.
So
you've
you
done a
can
lot of
almost
damage.
assume that other things, other organs and things are being affected now by the diabetes if that person needs a Sharka reconstruction on their foot. Wow, that's insane. And I have these questions because we have people that come in for consultations all the time. And we get it often that it's something they can't afford. And what I try to really push to them when I do have people that come in with underlying conditions like that, especially diabetes, right? Because it's such a serious thing,
Mhm.
is that, sure, it is an investment now, but I don't think we realize how serious diabetes can be and the effects it has on our body. And it's going to be more medical bills later if you don't take care of this now. And you'd be amazed to see how many people still walk away and don't take that seriously. So I'm curious to, know if you have a lot of people that you feel are not going to take it seriously, even like they maybe just got their sugar under control for the surgery, but
Right.
that they're going to leave and they're going to go right back to their old
Exactly.
habits.
Well, I've seen it, like, with ulcerations and things like that, where they get the ulcers on their feet and stuff, and they'll get it healed. They get their sugar under control to heal it, and then they'll be back 6 months later with,
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the number one thing. I mean,
Yeah.
they have to get that sugar under control.
Yeah.
Wow, sugar kills, guys. It'll take your
Mhm.
feet from you too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
That's insane. That
it's
is crazy.
it's really, the fact of the matter is they've already gotten with type 2 diabetes, right? We're not talking type 1,
yeah.
but with type 2 diabetes, they've already let their nutrition and lack of exercise get so bad that they're at that point that if they didn't even get to that point, this wouldn't even be, we
Right.
wouldn't be discussing it in the doctor's office about Sharka reconstruction. But it just amazes me every time how people don't take diabetes so seriously. I've had clients where like, I will never forget this one client. Her leg was like purple, and I knew she had diabetes, and I was
do
like,
remember that.
so what is that? And she had told me it was a rash, and I was like, I really think you should get a second opinion on that, because that doesn't look good. It looks like the blood cells are just dying off.
Right.
And it's scary because people just don't realize, like, yes, even if you have type 2 diabetes, you can still get neuropathy and all these things, even if you are like taking care of yourself with type
You
2
can
diabetes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even when they are caring for themselves, bad things can happen just from what's happened in the past.
Right.
But
For sure.
doing your best to keep everything under control, exercise, diet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Awesome. So what would be like the most common foot problem, I guess, like, and how could you avoid it? So like, is there like a certain thing that most people come in with and you're like, oh, this again?
I would. So plantar fasciitis is probably the.
Yeah.
yes.
I've had it. Dude, it sucks.
Oh, it's
I'll tell
awful.
you.
I've
Oh,
had
yeah.
it too.
See, I'm one of those guys. That's why I asked. This is for you guys, not me.
So I would say that's probably really difficult to treat, but I think stretching, wearing good supportive shoes, or inserts in your shoes are the number one ways to keep it from not coming.
So how
Okay.
does it come to begin with? Just from exactly
From
those things?
Being tight, and then it gets stretched too much. Either you did something to injure, so it's a chronic injury problem most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you weren't wearing supportive shoes and doing something, and so then it perpetuates itself,
Yeah.
and then it
Mhm.
gets inflamed. And once that inflammation comes, then you have to get treatment.
Yeah.
Oftentimes.
Like
Yeah.
when mine happened, dude, I woke up in the morning and like it hurt to freaking walk, step, like everything. It sucked ass.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
the worst. So I like went on the internet, looked up a bunch of shit. I froze some water bottles and you just kind of like roll it out. And that's what worked for me. I'm not going to say it's going to work for you.
Right.
But
Well, that's what I
that's
tell
what
people.
works.
You can try stretching, if you're not opposed to taking some anti-inflammatories, there's no medical, contraindications,
Yeah.
doing a week or two of anti-inflammatories to see, Aleve or Advil or something like that.
Yeah.
And see if it starts to get better. If it's not getting better, that's when you probably should see somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And change your dang shoes.
Yes,
That's number one.
Good-
That's how
good
that should
supportive
happen.
shoes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like first step is like, all right, look at those shoes, and if they're trash, I mean, throw them where they belong.
Well, I
You
think
already
people
know.
let them get so old and
Yeah.
more, you know, and they collapse down. The support's gone.
Yeah.
Even if they are wearing good shoes, they're like, oh, but they're only 3 years old.
I could
Yeah.
tell you even like Disney Springs, like where you can just walk around the shops and
Yeah.
stuff. And I've seen so many people, like women, walking around in high heels. And I'm like,
Oh.
how are you walking around in high heels right now all day long?
I
Like
don't
I'm
understand.
dying with sneakers on. And
Exactly.
you're definitely going to get plantar fasciitis by the end of this trip.
Something.
Yeah,
we-
exactly.
We were talking to Caitlin about this because she was doing some posing in the gym, and we were
Oh,
talking about
okay.
heels, and I was like, yo,
Yeah.
I don't understand how women wear that. And Alejandro said he might be able to.
Nah.
Well, I have a mixed martial arts background, and we do most of our training barefoot, which I actually wanted to pose a question to you because you were talking about like plantar fasciitis and like, let's say the frequency of its appearance as far as your practice goes. So I'm curious of like the opposite approach as far as, you know, to juxtapose, I suppose. Juxtapose, I suppose. Okay.
My
I'm
God.
a poet and I didn't know it.
Jesus.
Anyways. So, I was listening to a coach that I respect not too long ago, and he was talking about basically what fighters need to improve on. He was like, he was asked the question, so what do you think like the number one thing fighters need to improve on are as far as like, you know, strength and conditioning goes? And he said feet. He's like, people need to strengthen their feet because they gas out and yada, yada, yada. They encounter all these different problems. So I'm curious, like, are there any fighters that you see coming through with like, you know, torn ligaments or weakened joints in the feet, I suppose?
Yes, I do. I actually have someone who boxed for years,
Mhm.
and his feet are his number one problem.
Wow.
And it took him out. Like he couldn't do martial arts anymore. A
Mhm.
lot of that, though, boils down to martial arts is big into stretching. And so
Yeah.
many people skip that part, right? And that's where in the training, there's a reason, right? So they
Right.
can do all that barefoot, but they stretch and do all the things necessary to prevent injuries. And
Yeah.
that's, you know, so I think if you do it the right way,
Mhm.
working out barefoot on a soft floor is fine.
For
You
sure.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
sure.
the difference. Like you
Yeah.
stretch so much, and I think that's a huge part in the martial arts.
And I'm sure you probably see that with like gymnastics as well.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
they-
like
Mhm.
young
everything's
girls
barefoot.
tumbling and stuff
Right.
like that. Like I did a competitive cheer, but we wore special sneakers, so it's not
Right.
the same as gymnastics. But in gymnastics, they're barefoot and they're doing a lot of that stuff on beam and stuff. And I always wondered, like, gosh, how much does it actually hurt their feet to be landing on the beam? Right?
Right.
Like it's like
I don't
this
think
small.
they care, kid.
Yeah, they don't care. But anyways, I'm
Trying to
sure
get
like
gold medal.
long-term effects.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
that's pretty
well,
crazy.
dancers, I see
Dancers
a lot
too,
of
yeah.
dance
Oh,
injuries.
yeah, those balleters.
The
dude.
ballet,
Up on their
mhm,
toes,
ballerinas.
weird shoes,
Right.
weird
Those weird
positions.
shoes. Oh
Well,
my
the
gosh.
jumps too. The jumps make a big
Ah.
difference.
Oh,
yeah,
know?
makes sense.
Because if they don't land right, if they're not
Yeah.
stable, like if their ankle, like they had a previous injury and their ankle's a little unstable, they'll keep spraining it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, I have someone now and she's been to 3 different doctors and I was her 4th, and they just nobody can give her an answer, but she still has a lot of pain every time
Yeah.
she's dancing now.
Wow.
And it was because she had some previous injuries. And
Yeah. So what do you do in that case? Like, what was your suggestion to her? As
well,
to what
with
she
her,
could
we were
do?
trying to get an MRI and do some things that maybe see the imaging of see what she did, you know,
Yeah.
injure. Because there
Yeah.
has to be an underlying reason.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with sports like that, and like even gymnastics or competitive cheer or something where you're doing a lot of jumping and landing, because I myself now have a knee injury and I hear popping all the
Dude,
time.
those
And
things
it's-
clunk.
It's literally a clunk. It's pretty bad. So it's in both knees, and I know it's from the cheer because
Right.
after I did cheer, I started to notice that it happened.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you know, you get injuries, but it comes along with the sport. And when you love it, you're just like, okay,
Right.
I'll deal with it. But it's one of those things where I kind of had to retire tumbling, and I wanted to go back to private classes. And then I started noticing it was getting worse, and I was like, no, not worth
Yeah,
it.
I told her, I was like, is it worth it to destroy your knees to do a couple flips a month here
No.
and not be competitive? I mean, there's a point where you kind of have to draw a line and say, well, it's not really worth it anymore.
Right.
And we getting older.
Yeah.
I'm not young.
Yeah, it
Unfortunately.
definitely makes a big difference. Stretching.
Yo, stretching
Right.
is key though. So and then like foot and ankle stability, that translates over to the gym. Like when I squat and I have clients squat and they're having troubles with squats, I tell them to take their damn shoes off. Because most of the shoes nowadays are like super freaking narrow. They have a big ass cushion on the bottom. It is so unnatural. and like your ankle's moving around, and then your knee kind of buckles, and it's just not a good day for anybody when that happens.
Fashion
So,
over function.
yeah. So kick the shoes off. I mean, you got stinky feet. That's your problem.
Well,
Possibly
I
mine
always
if I'm
tell
training.
people when they wear those squishy shoes, I'm
Yeah.
like, so squishy shoes are not meant to work out or when
Yeah.
you need the stabilization.
Mhm.
Squishy shoes are like a couch cushion. If
Yeah.
you do you want to work out on a
You
couch
sit
cushion?
down in
No.
those shoes.
They feel great when you walk in the store and you put them on your feet, but they're not for stabilization. They're
Those
not
are public shoes.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
go shopping in those things. dude. You don't go
exactly,
do
but
a
not
run
when
in
you
those.
need support.
Yeah, and I
Definitely
do
not.
see a lot of clients come in with them, and I always suggest like, yo, Converse, Vans, or literally like wear some socks. Make sure you got some.
Yeah,
nice,
you know,
clean
we all
socks
kind of
on.
recommend the Converse. At least I recommend the high tops if I notice someone's ankle is like shaky because it comes up and all the way the high Converse, right? The high tops and
Yeah.
supports that ankle. But yeah, the stretching is really important. I just wanted to say this that when I did competitive cheer, if you were a flyer, it was required of you. So I had to go to a separate class, an hour-long stretching class with my back spot. So unfortunately, you know, me being the flyer now puts my back spot in this private class we have to do together and stretch for an entire hour.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
yeah, because it was
Stretching
that
is key.
Well, that's
important.
good
Mobility.
though
Yeah.
that they promote that because I mean,
Yeah.
Oh
there's
yeah, you
lots of
stretch
injuries that can
before and
occur.
after, and
Yeah.
they're really, you know, it was stretching was key, especially if you were a flyer because of that stabilization. You're going on one leg, they're holding only the ankle, you know, so that knee has to be, you know, locked out and
Very-
every stunt. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
stretching is important. Mobility is important, especially when it comes to working out for full range of motion.
Mhm.
If you're not mobile, like your movements are going to be trash.
Yeah.
and then you're
And-
going to build wrong.
I am curious as far as like your list of injuries go. I notice a lot of times when I work with my clients, depending on like what injuries or let's say what dispositions they may have, like say someone's right-handed, they'll start to use that right hand for an extended period of time. They use it to pick up everything, and then all of a sudden this right trap will start to go forward and forward
Yeah.
and forward, and it starts to droop down a little bit. That left shoulder gets a little bit higher, and so eventually we have to do like a bunch of different corrective measures, but it tends to almost not just like the way that something manifests tends to affect like a lot of different areas. So I imagine it's the same with the foot. So like if you have someone that has a reoccurring foot injury, like what processes do you normally go through to like have or assess them and like be like, oh, like you need to strengthen the front of your shin as well as like, you know, your hamstring or something like
Right.
what do you normally do for
So
that?
normally if it's inflamed, I first try to get the inflammation down, and then the next step, so that's through bracing or a boot, and then the next step is when we start the stabilization. And I always say when you want to, if an injury is on the outside of the foot, you always want to balance with the inside of the foot, so they should have both you know, exercises for both.
Mm.
And always the posterior muscle group, so the calf muscle, the Achilles, those are the number one thing to stretch and make sure that you have really well stretched out, because they really affect the entire body, to be quite honest. You know, it crosses 3 joints: the knee,
For
the
sure.
ankle, and the subtalar joint. And so the posterior muscle group is really the most important to keep stretched out.
Mm.
Yeah.
But the stabilization of medial, the inside and outside of the ankles is the most important. So if you have injuries on the outside, make sure you're still doing the exercise for the inside.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Good to
That's
know.
good tips
is
right
true.
there.
That was a good
Yeah.
question because I was
Balance.
thinking that
Mhm.
too.
And that is the kinetic chain, people. That shit goes all the way from the ground up. So
Mhm.
it does all connect in some way, shape, or form. So like I blew out my back. This was probably like a couple months ago. I was doing a trap bar, that stupid trap bar, man. And I had like 400 pounds on there. I did 2 reps. The third rep, dude, I bring it up and my knee buckles. But I video everything like a dummy. And I watched the video and you can see it. My ankle kind of shifts and then my knee buckles and then my back gets destroyed.
Mhm.
So it literally started from the ankle, worked its way up to the knee, and then said, "Dummy, you're done. Your back is blown out," and it fucking hurt.
Yeah.
But it literally stemmed from and I figured out it was actually my glute that was weak on that right side. So I started rehabbing it, and I haven't had that problem since. But it did seem like it started from the ankle. Just a small shift of that ankle, especially with a lot of weight, can cause a lot of damage.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that shit sucked.
Well, when I, even for like plantar fasciitis, I give them a sheet, and it has the back stretches on there,
Yep.
piriformis stretches, glute
Oh, yeah.
stretches, all that, because it's very true. The whole posterior muscle group is
Yeah,
connected.
kinetic chain.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
connects. What do you think about foot massages? So I bought one from Amazon.
Oh my god,
It's,
he's obsessed with it, Brandy. It's disgusting.
Now I
right?
don't know how well it does anything, but it feels freaking good.
He's like,
So
you
that's
have
all I
to
tell.
try this.
This is what I tell people about soaking, foot massage. If it feels good, do it.
There we go.
If it
That's what I'm
doesn't,
talking
He's
about.
on, don't tell him that. He's on that
That's what I'm
thing for
talking
an
about, girl.
hour a night. When we get home, I don't get any attention because he's on the foot massage.
Dude, it's cold. I'll
He's
send
like
you guys
this,
the
rubbing
link.
the
I'll put
little
it in the
dog, our
description.
little wiener dog, just petting her as he's in his foot massage. I'm like, this is just.
Yo, I'm on my
not
feet all
right.
damn day, dude, in those like slippers, those gym slippers.
Now, do you worry that the use of this new foot massage tool, like Abby said, is going to affect like you guys' relationship? 'Cause
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe you should get rid of it, and then like you guys should massage each other's feet, right?
Dude, listen, that would be great.
I don't know if I
but
can agree to
couples
that.
foot-
Exactly. See, that's why I got the damn foot massager because she wasn't giving me the foot massage.
Talk
I
about
had to buy
stinky
one.
feet, dude. He
Yeah,
definitely
listen,
has
dude.
stinky feet. So I don't know if I can agree to that. I'd rather just keep the massage thing at that point.
I try to powder my shoes, you know. Oh, so yeah, have you ever had anybody like really smelly foot come in or like,
Oh.
something
Ooh.
gross? I know we talked about this, but I want the podcast.
Well,
to
you
be
know,
this.
the infection is the number one reason
Oh,
there's smelliness
yeah.
in my office.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to like back up from the patient.
You ever have to go in there with like a clothespin right on your
Well,
nose?
I always
Like quadruple
so
mass.
for the really bad smelly ones, I have to put like biofreeze under my nose.
Oh my God.
I'm actually really sensitive to smell. I don't know.
Me
how
too. I literally almost throw up over
Yeah.
everything.
Holy.
So I
smokes.
put biofreeze under my nose, and now that we wear a mask, it's not quite as bad because I wear an N95 in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a nurse who
Jeez.
actually like told me that some of his COVID patients were like the worst smelling patients because like something that happened with the mucus and I guess pustules that developed inside of their lungs and just that like exhaling caused like a really rancid odor.
Oh.
What do you think is like I know you said it was
That's what the mask
infection-based.
is for,
Is
that
there like a
stinky ass
specific
breath.
cause of infection that
Well,
causes
gas
the worst smell?
gangrene. Because I see you know,
Gangrene?
Gangrene. Oh
infected-
yeah, I completely forgot about that one.
gas gangrene. Yeah, it's the worst. It's
So
like,
how do
it'll
people
have
get that?
bubbles.
Like what? How does somebody occur
Well,
gangrene?
normally they're not a very healthy person.
Okay, so
Yeah.
again, it goes back to
Again-
health.
Exactly.
Right.
Again, it goes back to health because I mean, normally that's someone who hasn't taken care of themselves, and either just somehow bacteria got in, whether it was already they had a cut in their foot,
Yeah.
and so that's where you normally see it. Diabetics who get a really bad infection.
Yeah. I always wonder, what are your thoughts on like, do you have people that come in with infections from nail salons, like the pedicures?
Well, so I stopped getting pedicures because this one 25-year-old girl.
Ooh, she has a
Uh-oh.
story
she,
for this. Yes.
she came
yes.
in.
Listen, women.
She came in like she had been to 3 other doctors, been on 3 different antibiotics, her primary, and she'd gone to all these different doctors, a
Oh, for the
walk-in
beauty
clinic,
of the nails.
and I finally just had to remove her nail, totally remove the nail
Oh.
because
Oh.
it just we could not get rid of the infection. She'd been on oral antibiotics, we cut out the nail, so I finally just had to remove the entire nail, and it was all from an infected pedicure.
So is there a
She knew
video
right when
of
they cut her.
this? Because I would like to see that.
So does that grow
Listen,
back
it's one of those
normally?
weird things.
It
that,
normally
like,
grows. Hers
you
grew
wanna
back
watch
totally
it.
normal after
Yeah.
that.
Like
Wow.
But,
Dr.
I mean-
Pimple Popper.
Yeah. Dr.
Randy's like the
Toenail
Dr.
Remover.
Toenail popper.
Yo, you could go viral.
Yeah,
Yo,
that's
if you would
right.
just like rip off toenails all day on TikTok,
You
like,
know, it's
I
so
think it
funny.
could go viral.
Sometimes, like if I'm in the OR for something and I add on, because they want their toenail done, they're like, well, while I'm there.
Yeah.
And so I'll do an ingrown toenail. People in the OR cringe more from taking out a toenail than the actual surgery.
Oh,
That's
all right,
hilarious.
so listen, Dr. Phil, he said he came into your office and he got his ankle looked
Yes,
at. And he's
right.
like, dude, I was sitting there and all of a sudden she just whoosh, snapped off that toenail. He had an ingrown toenail. And he's been
Yeah.
bitching about that thing for months, dude.
Oh,
Finally.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is
Yeah.
it better?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Dr. Phil.
He
I don't
hasn't
know.
complained about it since.
I
So
haven't
yeah,
heard his
thank
mouth
you.
go off about it, so it must be better. But
Well,
yeah,
he said
it
you
was
were
kinda
really
funny
good
how he
at
did it.
not like, like you're not gonna be like, hey, we're gonna pull this on 3. 1.
Right.
Because like literally, I didn't even know what was happening. She just ripped it right out.
I just did it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
it's the
you
best
gotta
way to
do
do
it.
it,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
That's viral content.
Yeah. If
Like-
we could have had a video of that, that 100% would have went viral.
Just like have a countdown timer right in the left hand corner of the screen. So how was your day?
We would play that at the gym over and over. We have a TV that we play things on, and that
Yeah.
would definitely get
Problem
played.
Oh my god, I can't.
Oh my god.
Too much.
All right. So another question I have for you for your business. I know you run and operate, and you have children. How
Yes.
do you do all of
Yeah,
that?
because Justin and I are like still like, how is this gonna be done?
Right. So I have balanced my life. I've helped family. I do have some
Mhm.
family to help, and I have a babysitter that picks the kids up from school. She takes care of them, until I get off. only at my call weeks is when I'm in the hospital that it really gets stressful. But I have to spend time for myself too. And that's what I started working out and everything.
Yeah.
You know, I have to commit to that as well.
Yeah.
So that's the difficult part is committing to yourself as well as your family and your business. So
Yeah.
it is difficult.
Sure.
I've been in practice 16 years and I did a 3-year surgical residency.
That's a big
Yeah, it
accomplishment.
is a
yo.
huge
16 years is a
accomplishment.
long
But,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. So the 3 years, you know, I think it would be extremely difficult to have children in residency because it was so
Yeah.
demanding. But since I've been out, I opened my own practice right away. And so I was able to really say, well, this is what I want my life to be like.
Yeah.
I still go to the hospital. I do a lot of surgery. But like now through, you know, after COVID, we started just working through lunch. And so most days I'm out of the office by 3 and then go to the hospital. So I just, you know, I'm able to tailor my life a little more how I want it to be because I own my own practice.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so-
and you come to my gym 3 times a week
Yeah.
with the children and doing like what 8, 9 surgeries a day. I think you said.
Yeah.
a week.
Yo,
Normally a
I don't want to
baller.
hear any of you people's excuses. but you
Right,
have
right.
none.
So, and it's funny because I just having this surgery, I looked at him, I was like, how do women have this surgery and then have kids? Like, it's just like, it blows my mind. I'm sitting here like, I can't even put my own deodorant on. Like, this is nuts. How would I take care of a baby?
Yeah, I've had a big job the past few days.
He did. I'm not going to lie. But you know
Yes,
what?
yes.
Michael's looking at me all weird. Yeah, I've had to put on deodorant. You know, not my
Yeah,
choice.
listen,
but,
baby wipes. I was like, can you baby wipe my armpit? He's like,
I've had
that's a
to
first.
sit her up. So, women, if you consider on getting the surgery, just take this onto account that it is painful and it does not go away
Yeah,
overnight.
we're talking about breast augmentation,
This
ladies.
was,
I'm not secretive about it. This is what I've gotten. So yes, it's
last Friday,
painful.
but it's for sticking 2 foreign objects in you and being able to like do things. I'm just
great
saying,
phrasing. Great phrasing.
yeah, that can go. That can be its own clip. Yo,
Right.
I just think I wasn't
Viral.
prepared for like the amount of pain. And I opted out of the pain meds due to my, biological family history. So I did ibuprofen 800s. And honestly, I stopped taking them by Monday, but like they weren't kidding about that pins and needles feeling. Friday, I was like, I feel great. Saturday, I woke up, I was like, I just feel like I got hit by a truck. This is insane.
yeah.
So,
Yo, the
yeah.
drugs though, when she came out, like, dude, that anesthesiologist, like, he was cool, put her under, and then she came out like super happy.
Oh yeah.
And then it got worse from there.
I was like, if I feel like this great, I'm gonna go to church on
Yeah,
Sunday.
she's like, yo, we're going to church, we're doing all this shit. I was like, yeah, right.
That's what happens, right? It fools you right after surgery.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens.
It was funny because like he's like putting the drugs in and he's like, all right, now pretty soon you're gonna, everything's gonna be muffled. I'm like, after the week I had, I can't wait to not hear. And then as soon as he puts me under, or he's like, all right, medicine's going in, I'm like, it's hard to manage people. And I told that to the doctor Monday. He's like, you remember that? I was like, unfortunately, yeah, I do. I was like, but I don't remember anything else after. I don't even know how I got from the room to the recovery room. I don't know how. Just woke up and I was in the recovery room.
It's literally time travel. Like, if they
Oh
could
my
have
gosh.
that
The
plane
best.
ride to Hawaii, if they had that little like whatever,
Anesthesia?
yeah, they had that in my seat. Like, I would love that. I'd
Just-
pay extra for that shit for sure.
Oh yeah. Yo,
Dude,
last-
10-hour flight. I don't ever want to do it again. But Hawaii is amazing.
It is.
I do want to wrap it. Or you have a question?
No.
You sure?
it was more of an anecdote.
All right. Well, I just want to ask Brandy what her experience at our gym has been like. And like, just how has it been so far in your journey with your fitness journey at Ebbs Fitness? And then we'll wrap it up.
So the gym experience has been amazing. Justin's done a great job. I have a really bad back injury, so he really
Yeah.
modifies things and really, if anything feels, out of place or not right, he'll modify that
Right.
exercise. So he's done an excellent job with that. I've already seen a lot of inches lost. I was doing some measuring, not a lot of pounds, but that's on me because
Listen, the food is the
food
hardest
is
part.
the hardest part.
It is.
And
And
It's a journey.
It
It's
is
a journey.
It is
It's a journey. And I tell people
I'm better off
marathon.
now, 1 month later, healthier, stronger.
Mhm.
You
For
know,
sure.
I think it's been a month that we've worked together, maybe a
A
little,
little bit
over.
longer.
Yeah, a little over
6
a month.
weeks.
Oh, has it been 6
I think
weeks?
so.
Oh, that's
Possibly.
awesome.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
So-
just show up.
So that exactly. Me too.
Yo, she's been
3
crushing
times
it.
a week.
I do get on her about her food, just like I do with all my clients. Ashton knows this.
But like I just
Anna,
said, it's not a race,
David.
it's a marathon.
Right.
And, you know,
Yes.
everybody's fitness journey is different. I tell this to people all the time because they get down on themselves when they see other people's transformations. I'm like, listen, sometimes people cold turkey quit things, and sometimes it takes people a little bit longer.
Right.
And that's okay, because I'd rather you be sustainable with your results and make small changes to get closer to the goal. Right. And so after I make someone a meal plan, I'm like, listen, if you can't do this all right now, let's wean you off some stuff and get closer
Yeah.
to the goal. Right.
And that's what I've done.
Exactly.
that's-
I mean,
I
it's had to
stopped
and
stop.
that's all I
fried
ask of you.
foods, and I,
Yeah.
you know, so
Small
there's so
steps.
much small steps,
Small freaking steps.
and I can definitely see progress, and that, you know,
It's one
and I
step at a
definitely
time.
feel stronger.
Energy wise, I'm sure you feel a lot more
Energy-
energetic as well.
And I sleep. I'm not a good sleeper, and I have been sleeping like a champ.
That's right.
That's
You
good.
always hit them damn box, freaking squats and ball slams. You're going to be sleeping tonight.
yeah.
You're going to do this in a couple hours here.
Oh, God. Get ready, Brandy. Here we
Sorry to
go.
all my clients.
Yeah,
RIP.
Celsius, I'm sorry.
RIP. But other than that, I think it's been a great show. I do want to wrap it up. 'Cause
Thank
we're
you,
running a
Brandy, for
little
joining
over
us
time.
today. And
Thank you
that
for
was a
having
great
me. I
Appreciate you
interview.
enjoyed it.
coming. It's been amazing. And I'll
I
see
really-
you in about an hour.
Yes,
Love
I really
that.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Bye,
appreciate you on
guys.
the
Happy
show.
Friday.
Make sure you tune in next Friday, guys. 2 p.m. Operation Hustle.
Woo.
Live on Facebook. We're on Spotify and
Spotify.
YouTube. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.